What happens when a brilliant nurse steps into a prestigious hospital, only to face cold stares and hidden prejudice? And what happens when a silent patient holds the power to turn everything upside down? Stay tuned to find out how one woman's strength changes an entire hospital forever. But before we dive in, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below where you're watching from. Let's begin. Janet Brooks was excited but nervous as she walked into Greenwood Memorial Hospital. It was her first day as a nurse in one of the most well-known hospitals in the city. She had worked hard to get this job and was determined to make a good impression. As she walked through the gleaming halls, something felt off. People weren't as friendly as she expected. Conversation seemed to stop when she approached, and people gave her quick glances before looking away. It made Janet feel uneasy, but she told herself, it's just the first day. Maybe they're just busy. When Janet reached the nurse's station, she approached a blonde nurse sitting behind the desk. "Hi, I'm Janet Brooks, the new nurse. Could you tell me where the head nurse's office is?" she asked. The nurse gave her a quick, professional smile. "Third door on the right down that hall," she said, pointing. Janet thanked her and started down the hallway, but she couldn't shake the feeling that the nurse was watching her. As she walked, she noticed the stares from other staff members. "I worked hard to get here, and I'm not going to let this bother me," Janet thought, straightening her back. By the way, if you're enjoying the story so far, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more inspiring content. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from and what you think about Janet's first day. A few moments later, Janet saw a tall man in a white coat step out of a room. He looked important, like someone with a lot of authority. Janet smiled and walked toward him. "Good morning, doctor," she said with confidence. "I'm Janet Brooks, the new nurse." The man looked at her briefly, his expression hard to read. "Dr. Stephen Harper," he said coolly. "I hope you're familiar with our standards. We expect nothing but excellence at Greenwood Memorial." Without giving her a chance to respond, Dr. Harper turned and walked away. Janet stood there, her smile fading a little. That wasn't exactly a warm welcome, she thought. As the day went on, things didn't get any easier. When Janet tried to talk to other nurses, they gave her short answers and avoided eye contact. Later, she overheard two nurses whispering behind her back. "Did you see the new hire?" one of them asked. "I don't know what they were thinking." Janet felt her heart sink, but she pushed the feeling aside. "I've faced challenges before," she reminded herself. "I can handle this too." If you're finding this story interesting, don't forget to hit the like button and share this video with your friends. Also, leave a comment about what you think Janet should do next. And, of course, don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories like this one. During her rounds, Janet was assigned to care for a patient named Daniel Everett. He was recovering from a skiing accident and had both arms in casts. Janet walked into his room with a smile. "Good morning, Mr. Everett. I'm Janet Brooks, and I'll be your nurse today," she said. Mr. Everett looked up at her and smiled back. "Good morning, Nurse Brooks. It's nice to meet you." As Janet took his vitals and checked his bandages, she noticed that Mr. Everett was watching her closely, but not in a rude way. He seemed curious, like he was paying attention to everything she did. "You seem very capable," Mr. Everett said as she finished. "How long have you been working here?" Janet smiled. "It's actually my first day," she admitted. "Your first day, huh?" Mr. Everett said thoughtfully. "Well, it seems like you know what you're doing." Janet chuckled softly, grateful for the compliment. "Thank you," she said. "I'm doing my best." Hey, if you're enjoying Janet's story so far, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like this video, and leave a comment below. Do you think Mr. Everett might be an important character? Keep watching to find out. Over the next few days, Janet started to see more clearly how people at the hospital treated her. Dr. Harper seemed to watch her more closely than the other nurses, constantly giving her harder tasks and expecting her to do twice as much as the others. Even when she did everything right, he never seemed satisfied. One afternoon, Janet overheard a few nurses whispering near the lockers. "I don't trust her with important patients," one nurse said. "She's too new. I don't think she can handle it." Janet felt a lump form in her throat. It was hard to hear those words, but she reminded herself of why she became a nurse in the first place. "I'm here to take care of my patients," she thought. "I can't let their opinions get to me." That day, she went to check on Mr. Everett again. As she worked, he noticed that she seemed more tired than usual. "Is everything all right, Nurse Brooks?" he asked gently. Janet sighed. "It's been a tough day," she admitted. "Some people here don't seem to think I belong." Mr. Everett nodded, his eyes thoughtful. "I've been in this hospital for a while," he said. "And from what I've seen, there are things here that need to change." Janet wasn't sure what he meant, but she appreciated his kind words. It was nice to know that someone believed in her. Before we move forward with the story, make sure to like this video, share it with your friends, and hit that subscribe button. Let us know in the comments what you think Mr. Everett meant when he said there are things that need to change at the hospital. Things came to a boiling point a few days later. Dr. Harper was leading a complicated surgery, and Janet was assisting him. Everything was going smoothly until Janet noticed that Dr. Harper was about to make a critical mistake. She hesitated for a moment but knew she had to speak up. "Dr. Harper," she said calmly, "I think it would be safer to approach from a different angle." Dr. Harper froze and looked at her with narrowed eyes. The room went silent. Janet's heart raced, but she held her ground. After a tense pause, Dr. Harper adjusted his approach and continued the surgery without saying a word. The surgery ended successfully, but Janet could feel the tension in the room. Later, Dr. Harper pulled Janet aside. His voice was low and angry. "How dare you question me in front of the entire team," he snapped. "You need to remember your place." Janet tried to explain that she was only trying to help, but Dr. Harper wouldn't listen. He started saying things that hurt deeply, criticizing her and making cruel comments that hinted at racism. Janet stood there in shock, unable to believe what she was hearing. This story is getting intense. If you're invested in Janet's journey, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it with your friends. What do you think Janet should do next? Let us know in the comments below. Unbeknownst to Dr. Harper, Mr. Everett had overheard the entire conversation. As Dr. Harper continued his rant, Mr. Everett stepped into the room. His face was calm, but there was a clear authority in his voice. "Dr. Harper," Mr. Everett said firmly, "I believe you've forgotten who you're speaking to." Dr. Harper's face turned pale. He stammered, trying to find his words. "Mr. Everett? I didn't realize." "I heard everything," Mr. Everett said calmly. "And I won't allow it." Mr. Everett went on to explain that he wasn't just any patient, he was the CEO of Healthcare United, the company that owned Greenwood Memorial. He had been paying attention to how Janet and others were being treated, and he wasn't happy with what he had seen. Dr. Harper stood there, speechless, as Mr. Everett told him that things were about to change. Whoa! Did you see that coming? If you're loving how this story is unfolding, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with your friends. What do you think will happen next with Dr. Harper and Mr. Everett? Comment below with your thoughts. After Mr. Everett's intervention, things started changing at Greenwood Memorial. Dr. Harper was investigated and soon removed from his position. The hospital leadership realized that they needed to take action to improve the way staff were being treated. Mr. Everett demanded that the hospital start diversity and inclusion training, ensuring that everyone, no matter who they were, would be treated with respect. Janet was invited to help lead the changes. At first, some staff members resisted the new rules. People didn't like the idea of being told to change their ways, especially those who had been at the hospital for a long time. But with Mr. Everett's backing, Janet pressed forward. If you're enjoying how the story is developing, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. What do you think of the changes happening at the hospital? Keep watching to find out what happens next. As time passed, Janet began to feel more confident in her role. She wasn't just a nurse anymore, she was helping to make Greenwood Memorial a better place for everyone. Her work caught the attention of other hospitals, and soon people from all over the country were asking her for advice on how to bring about similar changes. But with this new responsibility came new challenges. Some doctors and nurses didn't like the changes and found ways to make Janet's job harder. There were still people who doubted her abilities and didn't want to see her succeed. One day, Janet was blamed for a mistake that wasn't even her fault. It felt like all the hard work she had put in was falling apart, and she worried that she might lose everything she had worked for. But once again, Mr. Everett stepped in. He defended Janet and made sure that the truth came out. The mistake wasn't hers, and those who had tried to sabotage her were exposed. Thanks for watching so far. If you're inspired by Janet's resilience, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. Let us know in the comments how you think Janet will handle these challenges. Stay tuned for more. Things seemed to be going well, but just when it looked like everything was falling into place, a new challenge arose. A former doctor at Greenwood Memorial filed a lawsuit, claiming that the hospital's diversity programs were unfair to white staff members. The lawsuit got a lot of attention in the media, and suddenly Janet's work was being questioned by people outside the hospital. Janet was stressed but knew she had to defend what she believed in. After months of preparation, the case went to court. The trial was long and difficult, but in the end, the court ruled in favor of Greenwood Memorial. The judge said that the hospital's efforts to create a more inclusive environment were not only fair but necessary. Janet felt relieved and proud. The victory wasn't just hers, it was a win for everyone who believed in creating a fair and equal workplace. Janet has come so far. If you've made it this far, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. What did you think of the court case? Let us know in the comments below, and stay tuned for the final part of this amazing story. With the lawsuit behind her, Janet continued her work at Greenwood Memorial. She became a leader in healthcare, not just at her hospital but across the country. She was invited to speak at conferences and share her story with others who wanted to bring about similar changes. Janet also became a mentor to younger nurses and doctors, helping them navigate the challenges she had faced. Greenwood Memorial, once known for its problems, was now seen as a model hospital for diversity and inclusion. One day, Mr. Everett announced his retirement, and Janet was chosen to take on an even bigger role in leading the hospital. As she looked back on her journey, she realized how far she had come. From being a new nurse who struggled to fit in, to becoming a leader who changed the entire system, Janet knew that her work had made a lasting impact. But even though she had accomplished so much, Janet knew there were still more challenges ahead. She was ready to face them, confident that with hard work, resilience, and the support of her team, she could continue making a difference. Wow! What a journey! Janet's story is one of strength, perseverance, and change. If you were inspired by her story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with your friends. We want to hear from you. What was your favorite part of Janet's story? Comment below, and stay tuned for more stories like this one. Thanks for watching.